Okay, so in this video we're going to be covering how to split test your emails. Now, most people are aware of split testing, offers and, opt-in pages, stuff like that. But a lot of people don't split test their emails, and you may be thinking to yourself, well, I don't have that big of a list. But what Getresponse does is they make it really easy for you to split test regardless of the size of your list. So let's go ahead and show you how that works. So in the dashboard under messages, you'll see split test. So first, let's create a brand new one, and I'll show you how it works, and then I'll show you how it worked on a past one that we did. So first we'll call this sample AB and create new split test. And then what happens is we can either create a new message or we can use an existing message. So we'll say create a new message first just to show you how that works. So HTML message creator, just like we talked about before. Start with a blank template, and then we pick our subject line. So we'll say message 1. Okay. And then obviously, like we talked about before, when you're creating one, you want to do the plain text as well and add the link, but just for the sake of the example. Okay. And then we click on next step. Okay, so we have that. And then we can create a new message, or again, we could use an existing message. So if I was going to just create both messages, I would do that. But let's, for the sake of the example, use an existing message. So in this case, this particular autoresponder, I don't have any set up in here, but it would normally show it in here. But because this is a sample campaign, it's not in there. So let me go ahead and click on Create New Message. Start with a blank template, and we'll say message 2. Here it is. And then one thing I want to point out about doing split test is to make sure that you only change one thing, like your subject line or the body of your message. Don't change two things, because what will happen is you'll muddy up your results, and you won't know, was it the subject line that made people buy, or was it the body that made people buy? So just change one thing, okay? And then we come down here, we click on next step. Okay, now what happens now is we can set the percent that we want of our list to get these emails. So for instance, if you set it at 10%, okay, then what will happen is if you have 1,000 people on your list, then 100 people, or 10%, will see these messages. So depending on the size of your list, you could say, you know what, I want it to be, 20% as an example. Okay, so now what this will do is this will tell you total selection of your contacts, the selected percent, the contacts count per percent, okay, and then percent per message, contact percent per message. So if we come back, so that's how we set it up. But let me go back to the actual split test that I already did here to show you the difference in the results. So all right, so show split test stats. All right, so what happened was when I first set this up, I did two different subject lines. One was Getresponse training, the other was list building training. And what I found was that in the initial one, with just sending it out to 20% of my list, was that this one didn't open as well as the other one, but the click-through rate was better. So in other words, the people that clicked on this wanted to know about this. People that clicked on this were like, oh, it's Getresponse training. Maybe they were interested in some strategy for list building versus, Getresponse training, so the click-through rate wasn't as good. So what happens is, once you click on that, let's say you set it to go out at 9 o'clock in the morning, at 9:30 you come back and you'll see that 20% of your list or whatever you picked was emailed, and you'll see your results. And then there's another little option right here which will say email the rest. So you can pick whichever one is the winner and click on email the rest. So if you have, let's say, a list of 10,000 people, okay, and you mail 1,000 people from your list 2 different versions, and you see that one of them does great and the other one does lousy, okay, now you can mail the other balance of your list to 9,000 people, the winner, and get a much better click-through rate and keep your customers happier. So great little strategy for split testing with Getresponse.